Welcome to the Guard Exile. Tired of struggling with being hoarded by enemies? Can't shed them from hitting you all the time? Always getting your blood boiling no matter what you do? Well, seek no more, as I have the solution to your problem. It is the bloody special shield, the bleeding Spectral Shield Throw Gladiator. The goal of this build is to make use of the Gladiator Ascendancy for its powerful block bonuses as one of our main defensive layers, as well as utilize satisfying bleed explosions. This build can be easily played as a starter build, which will offer safe, relaxed, and amazing clear speed in maps along with decent single target damage. It's not amazing one-shot godlike damage, but it gets the job done with only a shield as Gladiator. You should be able to tank most of the content thanks to our high life, armor, and block chance too. If you are watching this build guide after patch 3.15 Expedition League and the title's patch number has been advanced, be sure to check the description down below for the path of building link that has leveling trees with the build's ideal setup and pinned comments for changes or updates on the build. Please note that the viability of the build is subject to change, as some items, mechanics, or skill selections may change in between patches. With this being said, the build can differ from the video, so let's check it out. The bleeding Spectral Shield Throw Gladiator makes for a solid budget build choice, as it's able to start with just a shield that has a good amount of armor that scales well up to complete all of the game's content. Offensively, we use Spectral Shield Throw as it fires a spectral copy of your equipped shield, which will chain and shatter on impact, releasing additional smaller projectiles which pierce. It deals higher base damage based on your shield's armor, meaning if we equip a shield with a high armor rating, preferably 2,500 plus, then you end up with an attack that has a very high base damage, making it great for applying potent bleed damage over times. This allows us to focus on getting physical damage over time multiplier and bleeding damage, meaning we can utilize the Crimson Dance passive, which allows you to apply up to 8 stacks of bleeding on an enemy, but with 50% reduced damage. Overall, this can potentially quadruple your damage over time from bleeding if you can apply all 8 stacks quickly enough. Thanks to the use of gratuitous violence, you will also cause enemies to explode, dealing tons of physical damage in an area around them, greatly increasing your clear speed and overall enjoyment from playing this build. Finally, we make use of the Pride Aura for even more physical damage taken by enemies, and Corrupting Fever skill gem that inflicts corrupting blood on enemies, giving us even more bloody bleeds. Defensively, we make use of a few defenses to be a tanky boy. Our first layer of defense is attack, projectile, and spell block, as you can have anywhere between 50% to all block chance up to 75% to all block chance, depending on gearing and ascendancy conditionals. However, even being above 50% block chance is very strong. Our second layer of mitigation consists of blind we gain from our ascendancy when we bleed enemies, endurance charges we generate from enduring cry, Vaal Molten Shell linked with cast when damage taken for normal Molten Shell to be active when we take a big hit, and have the Vaal version as our oh shit button. The third layer is Fortify that we gain from shield charge, and our life leech that we get via our medium cluster jewels with vivid hues. We also use a Tempest shield for the free attack and spell block, plus it's a free MTX. The playstyle of this character is very quick and mobile. We make use of shield charge to quickly navigate maps and trigger our Fortify. For regular packs of monsters, we are able to shield charge in, fling out a shield throw or two, and watch them explode. For bossing, we simply put down our Ancestral Protector every 12 seconds and get as many hits in as you can to stack up your bleeds. Make sure to keep Tempest Shield, Blood Rage, and Corrupting Fever up at all times while mapping, and the same for bossing. Remember, Corrupting Fever will refresh its duration as you spend life attacking, as Blood Rage will when you kill an enemy, and Tempest Shield when you block. For our pros, good damage scaling based on the armor of your shield, amazing defenses from high armor, block, and life, awesome clear speed thanks to our projectiles chaining and piercing along with our bloody explosions, budget friendly and very easy to cap our resistances. Enjoying the Guard Exile? Hit that like button and subscribe to show your support for more informative guides just like this one. For our cons, we cannot do physical reflect maps. Avoiding ailment modifiers on maps can be painful, however, it can still be done. It's not the most amazing single target damage. Our class and Ascendancy choice is the Duelist Gladiator. This is a solid choice and access to defensive and offensive options. Pain Forged gives us an 8% chance to block attack damage if we were hit recently and cannot be stunned by hits we block. This includes spells. Versatile Combatant applies all of our attack block chance to spell block chance. This is a very strong node as you generally need to itemize perfectly to get proper spell block, but here we get it with our Ascendancy. Blood in the Eyes provides us the ability to apply Maim for increased damage and blind enemies with our extra 50% chance to bleed. Finally, Gratuitous Violence is what delivers those gory explosions where enemies will explode for 10% of their maximum life. These are the bleed explosions that will greatly assist your clear speed along with the 20% more physical damage over time. In the path of building is leveling trees for each act, however we grab the following keystones in the tree. Crimson Dance, we can inflict up to 8 bleeds per target, however we have 50% less damage with bleeding and enemies cannot take extra damage while they move. Call to Arms allows us to instantly cast our Enduring Cry. Resolute Technique gives us the ability to ignore accuracy on our gear so we never miss our throws. For our Pantheon, you can use any Pantheon where you see fit, however I found the most optimal to be are Soul of Arkali. We reduce damage taken over time and increases our recovery of our life leech when we recently stopped taking damage over time. For our Mana, we use Soul of Shikari for more reduced damage taken over time, but for chaos damage and less duration of poisons on us. For our Bandit, we choose to kill all bandits for the 2 skill points. For our Spectral Shield Throw, we pair it with Vicious Projectiles and Brutality for more physical projectile damage. We then pair it with Unbound Ailments and Swift Affliction to further boost the amount of bleed damage we put out, along with Life Tap for more damage and to negate our mana cost. With our aura setup, Pride has the potential to do more damage and also affects our initial hit. However, with Malevolence, you can outrange enemies and it's always up. Malevolence also has nice Watcher's Eye mods to scale our bleed even further. Wall Banner, it's pretty good for just 10% reservation. Adding another physical damage multiplier helps our single target as you can just place it on the boss for a really big boost. Herald of Purity for even more physical damage and with some buddies to help keep us company. Or we can use Aspect of the Spider to slow our enemies and give us 15% extra damage. Our movement setup for applying Fortify and smashing into groups of enemies. Corrupting Fever is our damage support that applies Corrupting Blood on enemies, which scales well with all of our multipliers. Go for Empower level 4 if you have the money instead of using Swift Affliction support. Vaal Molten Shell, with the Granite Flask I have over 30,000 armor, which gives us a shield of around 10,000. It is linked to cast when damage taken as additional life and the Vaal one as your oh shit button. We link it to increase duration to have a longer uptime on both of them. Blood Rage, here we get some much needed life leech, frenzy charge generation and a lot of attack speed. Enduring Cry provides us with a good amount of regeneration, endurance charges, and we can just use it on the left click to just auto cast it with our Call to Arms keystone. Keep in mind that your shield charge does a lot of damage as it also scales with your shield. In lower tier maps or just to have some fun, you can easily shield charge packs to death. Ancestral Protector is awesome for the more attack speed they provide us with on bosses or stronger encounters. Tempest Shield gives us a 3% to all block chance and it's also a free shield MTX. Our weapon is Prismatic Eclipse with 3 green sockets for 36% attack speed buff, as it's a global modifier. You can also corrupt it for Resolute Technique. For an upgrade, I recommend a Runic Hatchet with Warlord Influence. Aim to get increased physical damage over time and increased damage with bleeding. Try to get one with an open suffix to craft physical damage over time multiplier for even more damage. Keep in mind that most buffs on weapons are only local modifiers, so they won't affect your Spectral Shield Throw. For our shield, a Colossal Tower shield with as much armor as possible is a best in slot. You can buy an item level 86 for just some chaos. Just throw some dense fossil on it and you should be able to get a decent one with around 2000 armor. If you are buying one, look for 2500 armor plus, with any resistances, life, or even block chance 2 will be great. For our chest, Lionized Vision is the best chest as it gives us Pierce as a free 7th link. It's easy to color, has mana leech included with life and a ton of armor. It's a pretty good chest overall, I must say. Alternatively, you can get an Influenced Astral Plate that has life, resistances, and Redeemer Influence for frenzy on bosses and crafted block for reaching the cap. With our amulet, Impresence is a good amulet as it provides good life, armor, physical damage, and vulnerability aura, although you need to shuffle your gems around to fit in vulnerability linked to Hex Touch support. Alternatively, we can get a rare amulet with physical damage, life, resistances, and an Elder or Hunter influence, so you can get access to physical damage over time multiplier. For our anointment, you can go with Cleaving, Growth and Decay, or Crystal Skin. For our bout, we pick up a Stygian Vase with high life, resistances, and armor if possible, with an Abyss Jewel that has high life and resistances too. With our rings, we use 2 rares with a lot of resistances and life. Warlord Influence on one or both of them for another possible source of vulnerability and increased damage with bleeding is fantastic too. We use a pair of rare gloves with life, attack speed, and some resistances. With Hunter Influence, you can get an extra physical damage over time multiplier, just like our amulet. Armor-based boots with life, resistances, movement speed, and again with Hunter Influence for projectiles pierce targets 1 or 2 additional times, depending on the role. You can also get a pair with bleeding you inflict deals damage faster on top of the pierce, however they will be very expensive. For our boots enchant, we aim to get increased attack and cast speed if you've killed recently. For our helmet, we get an armor base with life and resistances. You need an Elder item level 85 base for the mod 9% physical damage, and it's not that easy to roll, or you could just buy one, I guess. With our helmet enchant, we get Spectral Shield Throw fires 5 additional projectiles. With our jewels, a Watcher's Eye, if you have the money, then you should go for it, as there are some good malevolence mods that add a significant amount of damage for us. With our rare jewels, you should look out for maximum life, damage over time, damage with bleeding, physical damage, and attack speed while holding a shield. For our large cluster jewel, increased physical damage as it scales our damage very well. As for the notables, you can choose between Force Multiplier, Battle Hardened, Iron Breaker, or Master the Fundamentals. We can also choose to go with increased attack damage with shields. Here, you have notables like Gladiator's Fortitude to choose from. Our medium cluster jewels will consist of increased physical damage over time or multiplier. We use notables like Exposure Therapy, Rend, and Vivid Hues for Leech. With our small clusters, we look for 1% chance to block attack damage, so it can fix some of our missing block. You can also go with one that gives increased maximum life and then use Fetal or maybe some hybrid notable like Gladiator's Fortitude as well. With our flasks, we use a bubbling or seething divine life flask of staunching that's instant, as in most of life builds with bleed removal. Alchemist's Quicksilver Flask of Adrenaline for more speed between monster packs. Experimenter's Granite Flask of Iron Skin, as the Iron Skin suffix boosts our armor by a ton. It's great for our Molten Shell. Perpetual Silver Flask of Warding, we don't have a source of onslaught and curse removal, so we go with this one. An Ample Quartz Flask of Heat, as our love phasing and some extra defense is always welcome. You can swap this flask for something that you like maybe. Leveling this build is very straightforward, but as always, there are many leveling uniques that make the experience much faster, easier, and much more fun, such as Goldrim, Wanderlust, Tabula Rasa for that easy free 6 link, Lycosidae, Belt of the Deceiver, some Blackheart rings, an Aurum Vorax for our resistances, a Titicus Span, an amazing leveling shield which has a very high base armor for its level and greatly reduces projectile damage that you take, a Thief's Torment, this is amazing to sustain our life while we are leveling, an Advancing Fortress. At level 61 you must swap for Chinobog's Pillar, it costs nothing and with over 1000 armor you will get into maps really fast. Since we do not get Spectral Shield Throw until level 28, we will be leveling with Shield Crush until then. For your gem progression, I recommend the following. At level 1, you have Shield Crush linked with Onslaught, Chance to Bleed. By level 4, we have access to Ancestral Protector. At level 10, we have Shield Crush linked to Onslaught, Maim, and Chance to Bleed. We also gain access to our Leap Slam. By level 12, it's the same with Shield Crush linked to Onslaught, Maim, and Chance to Bleed. By level 18, we gain access to our Herald of Purity and Herald of Ash. By now, you should have Shield Crush linked with Onslaught, Maim, Chance to Bleed, and melee physical damage. By level 24, we have Hatred. Once you hit level 28, you can finally use Spectral Shield Throw, which you will link Life Tap, Maim, Chance to Bleed, Vicious Projectiles, and Swift Affliction. On our Ancestral War Chief, you'll want melee physical damage, Maim, and Chance to Bleed. From here on, you will just need to fill out the rest of your supporting gems according to the gem section of this guide as you level. Feel free to make use of the passive tree and gear to help fill out missing attributes as you level and respec them later once you have the appropriate gear. Make sure to use defensive flasks such as Jade, Stipnite, and Granite while leveling to smoothen out missing or weaker gear. Our league started with this build which was really amazing to play. Not only could our face tank the act bosses, but clearing the areas felt smooth and non-troublesome. Picking up random shields each act with armor carried me really well and only needed to find resistances along with some life on our other gear. The Gladiator Ascendancy really serves its purpose nicely to an all-round performer. It provides excellent defensive and offensive bonuses that can help out all different variations of attack-based builds. With this build we get a powerful budget character that can scale efficiently into all endgame content. The multiple layers of defense really make this a comfortable mapping character, being able to shrug off all those intimidating map modifiers and slacking monsters that try to get so hard at you. If you found this guide helpful, or the next new build that you are going to play, then smack that like button and subscribe for I have many more builds planned. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, Exile.